I want to at least go over this before we start changing activities, right? Um, Apparently, I don't know if it's someone's discovering it or if it's just like a new clause that's been happening recently, to where Sony can close inactive PlayStation accounts after 3 years. If the account's closed, access to digital purchases tied to it is lost. You may close your account by contacting us using the details. If you have not used your account for at least 36 months, so 3 years, we may take steps to close it. In that case, we will contact you via the email address registered to your account and give you 6 months to either log into your account or contact us and tell us to keep your account open. After your account is closed, you will not be able to access the PlayStation Online services or use the digital products purchased with that account. I honestly don't know where this is like the hot take, to where like I don't know why people are getting upset by this. Like I understand a situation where I honestly I don't know where the outrage is, because we're in a situation where like number one thing to like point out that if you don't want to lose your stuff, then like, but that's just the craziest thing about this like thing, is to where we have to think about reasons why people would be inactive from your PlayStation. Would you be inactive from the PlayStation because there are no more games for you? Would you stop using the PlayStation because life got busy? Like 3 years is an incredibly relaxed position from PlayStation, because you're telling me that in the next 3 years you're not gonna have it. It's wild, to where I think this outrage is a nothing burger. I am thankful that somebody's raising this awareness that like, hey, they're gonna close your account if you're not active for like 3 years. That makes sense. That makes sense, to where if you're not actively using this, that makes some kind of sense. I don't know the argument against this, because even on YouTube, if the channel is not regular, if the channel stops posting videos after 2 years, if the last video is 2 years old or more, then yeah, that YouTube channel is probably dead. Same thing with this, I guess, to where like, if you didn't feel compelled to turn on your PlayStation 4, turn on your PlayStation 5 and play a game, like, we live in a society to where games are being released regularly. There are games being even released next year. There's Resident Evil Veronica, there is the Onimusha Way of the Sword, there's Final Fantasy VII Revelations, there is GTA 6, there is Pragmata, there is Bayonetta, I think still. I don't know. There is a bunch of games that the PlayStation console can give you access to, and the PlayStation Store for the PlayStation 4 will not be closed anytime soon. It is extremely strange that in the article for the PlayStation 3 store, Eastern countries and Mexico, Nicaragua, for some specific reason, were the first ones to start turning off their stores in August. I don't know why. Then Latin America and Middle Eastern countries is next later in the year. Again, I don't know why. And it's incredibly crazy to where that is a thing. where it makes in some ways this makes reasonable sense to where, hey, do you plan on, is there's a couple questions you have to ask your friend, right? Well, is there a logical reason that you are not using your PlayStation? Are you too busy working? Are you busy raising a kid? Are you busy? Is the barrier of entry to the internet expensive? The PlayStation subscription sometimes is even a joke. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't be playing your PlayStation 3 in the 3 years, right? Yeah, let's check this out first. Don't use PlayStation. Yeah, do that and stop. Yeah, stop complaining about it. Ultimately, if you're upset about your account being deactivated or like closing, then don't leave it inactive for 3 years. What else? Unfair. I have a PlayStation 5 and I love it, but I don't play it that much. Yeah, that's the thing about it. Like, I honestly, but that's honestly that is Wickstrom's fault, honestly, to where in his scenario he's not playing it that much because there's no games to bring him back to the PlayStation 5. If you have the Switch and the Xbox as well, you should have games that bring you back to it, right? Props are fucking everything. Props are everything because the discussion, sometimes people are visual learners, yeah? They need prompts. They need a diagram. I wish I had a whiteboard here to make a point. But like for the purpose of conversation, I have a Switch. I would have never had a Switch. I would never have had this. I would never have had the Switch if my brother did not give me Pokemon Scarlet. And it's a very funny situation to where 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the only reason why we had a Game Boy Color was to play Pokemon. And in a very funny, like, thing around, the only reason why I had a Game Boy Advance SP was because of Pokemon Ruby. I started playing... I actually don't remember why. Let me see. Let me look up. Hold on. Let me look up. Pokemon games on the Nintendo DS. New DS. New 3DS. Pokemon XY. Yeah. Pokemon XY. I played Pokemon XY, and I finished XY, I think. I'm thinking about the new 3DS, right? What was I thinking about? I was thinking about... Yeah, I have the new... Props. Oh! It was right over here the whole time. I should probably charge it too. It should still work. I have a new 3DS. Actually, let me see if I can actually plug it in. Let me see if it's... I don't think it's working. is that I think that I even think that the Nintendo 3DS store is closed. I think the service for that's closed. Is the official Nintendo 3DS store is closed. You can no longer add funds. You can no longer buy games on it. They've been permanently shut 3 years ago. Wait, what's the battery status? Yeah, so this the light balance. This is I can't even I think it's I doubt I can even access the 3D store, but I doubt it. Because I think all the games that I bought, all the games that I've ever played on this. Yeah. So I'll put this away, but let's turn it off properly. Yeah, so I need to be on the hunt for 3DS games because this physical media, the access, the ability to buy games for this game is non-existent. I cannot buy games for this device anymore. But the point being, what's the point? Right? I don't know what the point is, right? Where's my point? You know, I'm gonna tell you. What that sounds like what that sounds like to me is that there are games. There are more attractive games to play on the other devices than there are on the PS5. Unless you purposely buy a game that you love to come back to, you'll see it as often as you do a distant relative. Let's spell check that one purposefully, yeah. Because that's honestly like the takeaway. That's honestly my takeaway from his example is the fact that, if you like, that's the point where, like, what is it? You are juggling. You're juggling a PlayStation 5. You're juggling a Switch. I don't know which Switch. There's also an Xbox. You have a phone. You have a PC probably, because it is a non-zero chance that you have PC. But there's already 5 things that you're juggling on top of your other activities for your daily, right? That's just the whole thing. That's the whole thing. I don't know where you're coming from to where I don't know where the rage is coming from. Where if you haven't played it in 3 years, I don't know the game. I don't know that there will be a game that will convince you to come back to it, right? Much like how I'm in the predicament to where if I want to play more games on my Nintendo devices here, I either have to go out of my way to find a 3DS game that's affordable, right? I have to go out of my way to find a 3DS game that's affordable because the 3DS store is closed. A digitally I can never digitally purchase a 3DS game anymore. But if I find those cartridges like um intentionally, then I can put a cartridge in there. Even currently right now, I'm playing Bravely Default um 2, I think. The only reason that I'm regularly playing on the Nintendo uh, 3DS and the Nintendo Switch is because they are tools that I use to do cardio. I'm on the treadmill or I am walking at work, purposefully using these devices. But if you don't give yourself reasons to use them, then you won't use them. That's just really like point of the matter. Where is this cable coming from? Okay, now we're back to normal, right? Yeah, but honestly, that's crazy for me to think that 3 years is a bad thing. That buying isn't owning, then pirating and stealing. Why are people silly? The account deletion clause after 3 years was in the contract 10 years ago. Legal defense: no one's account will be deleted. The same contract also states that you can't sell discs and a bunch of other stuff. So almost all the companies do this. It's not even remotely unusual or uncommon. Account closures due to inactivity has been in the terms of service since 2009. Yeah, that makes a whole bunch of sense. Yeah, like for them to take action after 3 years is pretty generous, followed by an additional 6 months. So you have like almost 4 years, and if if you lose your account, that's ultimately your responsibility. So like I don't know where this outrage is. Yeah, like being mad about discs is a huge thing because like this is a single player's like in the example of GTA 6. The game itself is meant to be a feature complete game for a single player experience before they consider the ability to even do multiplayer. They're focusing on a single player experience, and most of these games that are on discs are intended for a single player experience or local co-op. And you're telling me that you're going to be upset that if you have not played this console in 3 years, what makes you think you're going to play the console at all? Because technology is constantly getting better. Technology is constantly like changing the way people play games and consume media. Like shoot, that's the craziest thing to where like again like sure maybe you want to dust off your I don't know what's crazy because like again like hold on. That again that makes sense to where this clause in itself should convince you even further for physical media preservation, right? This should be a bigger reason to promote the preservation of physical media, and for PlayStation to like continually um, invest in it. All my games, Switch pieces like that to rebuy several titles. I would rather do that than keep physical access. What? What? What's the? I don't. Gentlemen, Sony's policy has entered a new policy, abstract state of pro-consumerism. Like, you know what? I don't understand. You know what? Uh, I don't understand it. I mean, I guess in a way, Sony does gain its value back by, um, what is it? By closing the account. I mean, I guess that's the takeaway to where like, hey, uh, you don't use this anymore. That's okay. We're just gonna take this back for free. Sure, I guess. But ultimately, there's a situation to where if you don't, in the same vein that's YouTube. If you don't post, if you have a YouTube account that you plan to post videos on regularly, if you don't post on to a specific account for for 2 years or more, that account's probably dead. If you don't if you don't if you don't use your accounts, if you don't use your PlayStation for more than 3 years, there's a pretty good reason why most people would not touch a device after 3 years. Like, if anything else, I only touched my PlayStation, my Nintendo's 3DS again because I wanted a distraction while I was walking, while I was doing cardio, or like I've fallen back to the intended use of playing on the go. I didn't want to have games on my phone anymore, so I am digging these up again. And shoot, if I'm lucky, I'll check out if there's any like 3DS game vendors, and like if a vendor sells a 3DS game, then I'll probably buy one. I don't know. I don't know what the takeaway is, but I think the outrage is crazy.